PJNET.TV. Thursday night, it is 9 o'clock on the East Coast. We have a bumper running. We have Whitney Ward standing by in our green room. We are recording. We are streaming on all available platforms, and the chat room is waiting. So let's count down to Studio 6 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to PJNET.TV. It is going to be a great night, a night that has been preceded by an inordinate amount of, hype. And thank you all for piling on and sharing the promotional posts that have been put out there. Thank you for piling on the ones last night. I'm wasting some of Whitney's time. You'll notice the logo behind me here in the Eagle's Nest is that of mountain climbers. Now, I had not heard of mountain climbers just a week ago, but when I saw mountain climbers, I was immediately inspired and encouraged because I knew Whitney. I had met her at a writers' conference last year, but I didn't know she was doing this, and I just had to contact her, and let's go ahead and bring her on board. Welcome to PJNET.TV. Whitney, tell us, I skipped your bio, I was so excited. Tell us a little bit, give us your resume, then let's move on to mountain climbers.
So I am Whitney, and I am author, inspirational speaker, and my platform revolves around the word more. And the reason it does is because I have a rare gene mutation, and the name of that is Magus, and it means more in Latin. So I've really just built upon that word, more.
Now, Whitney, how did it get a name like that? How did that gene mutation get a name like that?
So interesting. When I was invited to name my gene mutation, I was told that nowadays you don't name it after the scientist who discovered the gene mutation or the person that has the disease. You actually form an acronym, and each letter of the in the word symbolizes one of the main defects or symptoms of the disease.
Okay.
Yeah. And so each letter in Magus stands for the main symptom of the disease. So when I was trying to decide, I didn't want it just to be scientific, like a sterile name. I wanted it to have some depth and meaning. So anyone who'd be diagnosed with this disease, they would know that they're more and that they have a purpose. So that's how Magus came to be.
And what exactly, I don't want to dwell on this too long, but tell us, what are the symptoms? How rare is this?
Yes.
What happens to people that encounter this?
So Magus is a blood disorder, and it consists of an immune and autoimmune diseases, and we encounter low hemoglobins, high white blood counts, low T cell counts. We have to just take treatments that build our immune system. Our immune system is not as strong as just a normal healthy person. Mm-hmm. So the M, I know I'm going to throw out a lot of scientific lingo here, but some people might be interested in this. So the M stands for monocytosis, myelocitosis. The A stands for activating and autoimmune. The G stands for gain of function. The I stands for immune, because we'll have immune disease. And the S stands for short. We're all going to be short in stature. And if you know me, you know I stand at the towering height of 4'9". So.
Okay. But the word Magus in Latin means literally more, right?
It literally means more. And the cool thing about Magus, when I was researching it, it actually referenced a Latin phrase, to the greater glory of God. And to me, that just made it even more perfect, because it's literally because of God's glory that we are even here, because it's a horrific gene mutation. I was told that I should have never survived my mom's pregnancy. I should not be as old as I am now, and I shouldn't be doing as healthy as I am. At 31 years old, I am the oldest person living with this disease.
Okay.
It's a very horrific disease, and there's only 5 known cases in the world with it.
under different circumstances, I would say you're very special. But I guess you still are very special, in many ways. The thing that impresses me, Whitney, about you is that it would be easy to withdraw. It would be easy to just curl up in a fetal position and hole up inside the house, and be angry at God and be bitter. But you, I would have to assume, made a choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about choosing. Are you going to be bitter or are you going to be better? And I have chosen to be better. And it really, it started with my parents instilling that in me. It would have been really hard or easy for them to pity me and just say, oh, just, we're so sorry. You can, throw a fit. You can have an attitude like this. You can, do whatever you want because you're sick all the time. But that's not what they instilled in me. They instilled in me that, despite my disease, God has still given me a purpose, and I need to pursue that purpose. And so that's what I've strived to do. I can let my disease define me, or I can define my disease. And that's what I've chosen to do.
Well, in coaching, we say, obviously there are times when the situation impacts a team or an individual. That's going to happen. That's inevitable in life. It's inevitable in sports.
Exactly.
The winners start impacting the situation. That's the difference. Big difference.
Yes, I totally agree.
All right. Enough small talk. Tell me about mountain climbers. I want
All
to
right.
hear it.
Well, I'm so excited about mountain climbers. So I attended the Right to Publish conference last June. Amazing conference. If you ever can make it, you should go. It's a great conference. And I was attending a marketing class. And this marketing class was kind of, telling us, it's kind of funny what you told me yesterday, how there's a right way to hold your phone when you're videoing yourself. That's kind of what they were talking about. When you're marketing yourself, when you're doing videos, there's a right way to do it. You need to pay attention to the details. And so it was like God just, whoop, popped it into my brain. Like, what if you do a segment called Mountain Climbers, because mountains are a big part of your platform. And instead of making it about you or chronic illnesses, bring different, people in that have climbed different mountains than you and let them share their stories. I've been given so many avenues to share my story. And I really felt the Holy Spirit urging me, I want you to do the same. So I decided to do that. And my first episode was in July. And what I really wanted them to come on and do is, not only share the good stuff, but share the good, the bad, the beautiful, the beauty from ashes, the pain they felt, because, that's real life. And sometimes, the only way to continue climbing your mountain is to admit that you're not okay and you need God's help. When I was younger, I thought that if someone asked me how I was doing, I had to say, yeah, I'm doing great. I couldn't admit that I wasn't doing okay, because I felt like if I admit that, then I'm not strong enough to handle this disease I have. They'll think my faith is not as strong as it should be. And I came to realize that, that's not the kind of God we serve. He wants us to come to him and say that we're not okay and admit it. And that's what I wanted everyone to do on Mountain Climbers, is to admit, there was a time in their life that they weren't okay, but God gave them the strength to climb those mountains and tell how he did it for them.
Well, and for me, if there's a mountain there, I want to climb that mountain because I want to see the view from the top. And so many of us,
Exactly.
we want to see that beautiful view, but we're not interested in climbing the mountain so much.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. Sometimes it's hard, and, as humans, we want the easy way, but a lot of times if we take the easy way, we're not going to get all of God's blessings and everything he has for us. And so, like you said, we have to climb that mountain to get those spectacular, views from the top.
That's great. Now, you do these, there appears to be a monthly cadence to it. Is that the plan?
That was the plan.
Okay.
But I went to a writing conference in November, and I met with Kyle Young. And one thing I want to say, just kind of throw this out there, is the faculty that you meet with at writing conferences, they know their stuff. So when they give you advice and tips, take it. They're not trying to overwhelm you. They're trying to help you. And so when I told him that I was doing mountain climbers and I was doing it once a month, he said, that's great, but you need more content. You need to do it 3 times a month, and you need to make it a podcast, and you need to somehow expand it so the youth is involved somehow. So, I took his advice and kind of, ran with it and expanded it. I had some, health issues and had a death in the family, so I wasn't able to do it right away. But in January is when I began taking his advice and had my first episode and turned that into a podcast. And March will be the first month where I will have 3 mountain climber episodes. And at the end of every month, and I always like to drop these on Monday, kind of like Mountain Climbers Monday. But at the end of every month, on that last Monday, that will be my youth episode. And I will have a teen come on and talk about the different things that teens are facing this day and age and what they do to climb their mountain and make it to the top.
Now, I'm gonna put your website up here, folks. You may want to get a pen. It's kind of a long name. It's not too bad, but I'm gonna put it up on the screen. I'm gonna leave it there for a moment. WhitneyLaneWard.com. If someone goes to that website, will they be able to see some of these episodes that you're referring to?
They will not. I actually have a YouTube channel, and if they just search Whitney Ward, my middle name's not in there. It's just Whitney Ward. They will find my channel, and not only will the Mountain Climber episodes be there, but some of my past speaking engagements will be on there as well. But I always post it on Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
So they can go to my YouTube channel or Facebook or Instagram.
Right. Find you on it might be easier to find you on Facebook, but in any event, some things that struck me is, first of all, you're using video, but you're not doing the usual. When I see videos, when I see Christian authors, writers, or people trying to pursue some form of kingdom building or advocacy, there's usually 2 modalities. One is the selfie.
Yes.
Okay. Which the message is good, but is totally lacking any technical merit. The other one is people seem to be gravitating toward Zoom. Now, you're not doing either of those things. Tell us what you're doing and why you're doing it differently.
So I kind of had to figure out, how can I do this and kind of have no distractions and do it in a professional setting when I don't have a studio. So that was kind of tough. So I'm actually in the room where I do Mountain Climber episodes, and so I set up in my dining room. You can't see it, but I have a little display where there's a W and there's a sign that says Move Mountains. And I took all of my phones and put them in a wardrobe so no one could hear the phone. And I got a tripod and set it up that way, and told anyone in the house to not make a peep, turn the TV off, and just pray that it works. Prayer's been a big factor with this.
Mm-hmm. Well, go ahead.
And then, thank the good Lord, I have very tech-savvy cousins who have been helping me, because this is literally going out of my comfort zone. So they told me, this is the tripod you need to get. And when I kind of ventured even more out of my comfort zone and got the microphone, they said, this is the microphone that you need to use. And you need to use Audacity when you're, using the microphone. And so anyway, I thank God for them, because I would have absolutely no clue what I was doing.
Well, you're getting some good advice, but what I really thought was neat. First of all, you are using a microphone, and you're using what are you using for a camera?
My phone.
Your phone. Good enough.
Good enough. Yep.
Phones
Maybe someday I'll get an actual camera, but right now the phone is doing its job.
And you're rotating it sideways, aren't you?
Exactly. Are you proud of me?
I am so proud of you.
I learned that marketing class at Right to Publish.
Yeah, it amazes me. I give this tip to a lot of people whenever I see them because people seem to naturally hold a phone up and down. Well, think about a computer screen. A computer screen's not up and down like that. Hold the phone to where its aspect ratio is similar to that of a computer screen, 16 to 9, actually. But anyway, so.
Well, I have to say, like I told you, if you're short like me and have short arms and tiny hands, it's really hard to hold it like horizontally. So I gave it my best shot to do it horizontally, but it just did not happen. So.
Well, that's what tripods are for. Anyway, but I liked it because it's got this kind of homey conversational touch. Now you bring in guests from the local area, so I remember Lori Faith was one of your guests. Faith, well, I'm dyslexic. Yes,
hey, I get it.
Faith Lore, and she spells that, but she does a great job. She's appeared on our program. She's kind of a natural behind the camera,
She is definitely.
And what do y'all? So is this going to be like The View, but it's just Christian maybe someday?
Something like that. Yeah. What I do is, since I've said, I wanted them to share like the good and the bad, so I don't want to get them on camera and then ask them a question and they get flustered because they're like, I don't want to answer that. So what I always do is I give them the question I want to ask beforehand and tell them, this is your episode, this is your story. If there's a question you do not want to answer, then let me know and we'll take it away. So that's what we do. They let me know if they want to answer it, or they might even say, hey, maybe you should add this because I'd like to share this aspect of my story. So that's how we do it, and usually do it a week before it drops so my cousin can edit the episode. And it's so much fun to learn about these people and hear aspects of their stories that I may have never known, and it's really cool.
Okay.
And
they run about 20 minutes, don't they? I'm trying to remember, but it was It
really depends on who the guest is. I don't have a limit. They can go as long as they want. They can go as short as they want. But the cool thing is, their stories allow other people who go through similar, situations the permission to feel that pain, to wonder why, to ask God why. And some people think that, you're not much of a Christian or you're lacking in faith if you ask God why. And I don't believe that. I believe that God wants us to ask why, and he knows the answer to that why before we even ask it. He knows what kind of world we live in, and there's going to be pain and there's going to be turmoil, and he understands that we might wonder, why am I going through this? Why do I have to climb that mountain? And that's what those people who are on my show other people, that if you go to God, he'll give you the strength and lead you. I mean, he's the best puzzle maker there is. He'll bring all those details and those puzzle pieces together in time.
Well, Faith, tell us about the guests that you have had. You've obviously had Faith, and then others. Who are you targeting at this point? You said you're going to look at some teens, people in your own church. That's Del Didway's church, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I go to church with Del and Angie. So great people. They actually took me to my first writing conference and kind of introduced me to the world of serious writers, so that's cool. But I don't really target anyone. I want to bring in just a vast, community and, different experiences. If I know they've been through something that maybe people know a little bit of, but maybe not the whole story, then I like to bring them in. In July, I brought in one of my best friends and her husband, because they had dealt with infertility and they were getting ready to have a rainbow baby. So they talked about dealing with that and just trusting God that he would give them another child. And then in July, I brought in a couple who almost got a divorce, but God just healed their marriage miraculously. Now they're doing amazing things in the community. And in August, I actually interviewed my sister, who has dealt with anxiety for a really, really long time. And she just kind of felt like, my faith isn't that strong because I'm dealing with this. And then God just kind of showed her that, yeah, you're dealing with it, but if you trust me, you can depend on me in ways that you never have before. And in August, I talked with my cousin who was battling for fourth stage of ovarian cancer, and she's beat it once again. So that's awesome. And let's see, in October, I'm trying to think of everyone that I've talked to. October, we'll go to November. November, we did a very special Veterans Day edition of Mountain Climbers. So that was really cool. I actually traveled to Columbus, to the church, to talk to this man. It wasn't in my house. And then in January, we talked to Del Didway's niece. And if you've read Del Didway's book, Having Impossible Faith, Grace Didway's mom's story is in there. She's Dee Dee Faith. So that's who I interviewed, and she shared her mom's story from her perspective. And then in February, we talked with Faith, and we discussed the stigma in the Christian world, the
what's the
singleness.
world? Being single in a doubles world. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And just how, sometimes in a Christian world, you're not viewed as like fulfilled or, whole if you are single.
Yeah.
And
something wrong.
Yeah. Exactly. If Faith did an amazing job to raise awareness for people who are in relationships and how they, need to remember their single friends. But then she, turned it around and talked to the single people and how they need to be happy for their friends that are, in a relationship and have found love. So she did an excellent job. I loved that topic. It was different than what we had ever done before, and I'm so glad we did it.
Well, Faith, I am sorry we've had a good time, but we're out of it because we got to make room for JD. We got to make room for JD, who's coming at the bottom of the hour. Faith, we are so proud of what you're doing. And you've said you're going out of your comfort zone, and I see nothing about your countenance and your presence and your voice and your appearance that leads me to believe that you are uncomfortable in any way. I think that God has made you comfortable in this situation through your faith, and thank you for sharing in this, and thank you for Mountain Climbers. And if there's anything that PJNET.TV can do to assist you or encourage you in any way, I hope that you will let us know, because our missions are very, very similar. Very similar.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been great.
It has been. Thank you so much. Folks, that was Whitney Ward here on PJNet.TV Part 1, and Part 2 is just moments away. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to take a trip around the Cross W with J.D. Winninger. So I'm going to leave you with 2 questions. First, what is the boldest thing you've ever done for Jesus Christ? Second, when was that? Folks, it is my hope that none of us are ever satisfied with either answer.